Trade Genius.
Hey guys, welcome to Sector Saturday. Bob's got some stocks lined up for you, so without further ado, let's dive right into it. So, Bob, explain to us what we're going to be looking at today.
Yeah, so like I said yesterday, we're going to be looking at what I would call the smaller cap stocks in the energy services area. The large caps have been producing a lot of cash, good earnings. I think this is secular move. I think we're seeing a rotation now in the stock market out of the FANG stocks. If you watched our FANG show, we basically called that whole debacle that is the large cap Nasdaq names. Now we're going into what I think is going to be the renaissance of the large cap commodity names. And because the environment's so hostile, Phil, politically to these guys yet in terms of investing, they're like, screw it. We're either not going to invest and we're going to harvest cash and pay high dividends and buy back shares, or we're just going to go in and we're going to buy the reserves from a smaller rival or a services company with a niche that we may need to continue our business operations. So I thought it'd be good to look at some of these smaller cap names, and some of them are starting to move, but going into 2023, I think these are going to be some great companies to own. So with that, let me share my screen. But before we get there, Phil, let's talk about the week that was. And also, I wanted to
Sure.
just kind of brag on you a little bit here
Oh,
with our
shucks.
system. It was just awesome. I know I played a small role in it, but you're the dude. So this is Phil's. It's Trade Genius, but let's give credit where credit's due. Phil put a lot of work into this thing. We talk about this all the time, guys. You have to know what's driving the market. And last year derivatives were driving it more than the Fed, but this year the Fed is center stage. And when the Fed's pumping, the market's going to move higher. And Thursday, we're looking at the market saying, oh my gosh, it's all these FANG stocks are blowing up left and right. And Phil said, man, we're going to pull right down into support level. We're going to get a risk on. And Friday's going to be an awesome day. And look what happened. I mean, just literally boom. I think 150 from the lows Thursday night to the highs on Friday. And here's my cursor here in the red. You can see it here. I should have blew up a little bit bigger. But having said that, our system looks at a couple things here, and I'm going to show you. This is the basically a bull bear line for the weekly. Basically, I put it down to a daily, but this is the most important thing. This is the basically the Fed liquidity line, and you can see here, as it moves up, the price has been moving up. When it's moving down, price is moving down. And then what we also have is a fair value area that's looking at the. Let me squeeze these in so you can see kind of how it works here. Is that it's looking at when it's going to get exuberant, or if it's down to a point where you can start buying it. And this blue, you see your light blue in this magenta area, Phil, as that's our heat indicator. And so I overlaid that and kind of matched it up against the fair value area, and it really is a really great tool to see, where kind of everything hits at the same time. Like here, we had a peak, liquidity was moving up, and it was kind of flatlining, but price kept moving. We got into a point where it says, hey, shorter hedge from fair value, and the heat said we're way overbought. So if you were pushing this, you wouldn't have pressed this into a unit flipping short.
Right.
Another one of our symbols that we have, this is called continuation buy and sell. Basically, when the moving averages start working in conjunction with separating from each other, a divergence, if you will, and it just drove it down. And so the importance of this thing is really it just gets you on the right side of the trade, okay? Look, it was risk off came on saying, hey, we're probably topping out for that part of the week, and guess what? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we drifted down. We came in, boom, Friday, risk on. We had a divergence, and we had a great, great day. Fair value was cruising the whole time. This whole chart and template, we're modifying this a little bit, so it'll probably be out by Thanksgiving. There's a few things in here that I want to do yet, and Phil has to tweak a few things, but we're going to make this available for sale in November, probably around Thanksgiving timeframe. And trust me, what you're going to pay for this, you're going to get back manifold in terms of profit, because the Fed can't hide what they're doing, and if we know what they're doing, we can make money from that. And what you pay for this in a month, you make it probably in an hour or two. So really cool system. So with that, I just want to jump back to one more chart so you can see it a little bit easier. And here's the SPY on the daily, and it's pushing up. Phil has a newsletter that comes out every day. 39.10 was kind of an area of resistance. We caught all the way up here, you know, to looks like we're closed around 39.23. So we may get a pullback on Monday before we push into resistance up here. And Phil, why don't you add a few things too? Because you have some thoughts on next week, and I thought it'd be interesting if you share those with us.
Yeah, if one thing when the market is embedded like this to the upside, like today was a very strong trend. I know Bob's showing a higher time frame chart, but what most likely what ends up happening is like on if you're looking like a 15-minute chart, what'll happen is the heat will roll off. Now Bob's got a faster heat setting there, but if he changed it to 28 on the 15-minute, embedded just means it's stuck in that color. All right, so that's, you're not going to see this very often. Okay, we did get a couple of days like this in July because like we showed you guys, we get into this area of chop before these moves happen, right? It's a basing formation before a bear market rally, and then we break out into the bear market rally and the trend cleans up. So what we're looking for here, guys, is that this heat setting rolls over back under that area where it's shaded. Okay, when it gets back under that 0.40, that's going to roll this over, and that 15-minute Ranger buy zone is actually the pullback area, and more often than not, we'll actually break through that because of the extended moves. Yeah, so we might get down to that lower level, which would be around that 38.50 mark, would probably be like maximum downside, I think, for this pullback. Because keep in mind, now that we've cleared this and we're trending over the weekly 9 EMA, we're trending over the daily 9 EMA. Those are just some larger EMAs that I like to look at as far as giving us an idea of where we are in the scheme of things. You don't want to fight the trends up, especially in this environment. And Bob showed you that the liquidity was signaling risk on. Okay, that's strictly a Fed liquidity signal. Okay, so that's telling you that the actual fuel for this market is rising. So you don't want to fight that because doing that, you'll end up just being underwater as the markets continue to rise. Now, right now, 3,900 is the upside target. We've hit that today. So unless the derivative markets push us and tell us that we have maybe up to 4,000 to go, we would just basically lean on this area as resistance. So short term for you guys going into next week, just as a signal that we're looking at, would be that 15-minute rolls off. We get that pullback down, could go as far as 38.50, and then we'd be looking for dip buys at that point. So, and then I think nothing's changed from what I've told you guys. I think we push up into the midterms. After that, we'll get interesting. Then we have to look at our technicals and our tools and our fair value and breadth and all those things that we include in the newsletter, because that's going to tell us how the market under the hood is positioning for the next phase.
Yeah, and if you're a subscriber of ours, this is part of the advanced package. So everything on here is part of the advanced package. So you'd be able to, and the blue here is that's one of the ribbons. So yeah, and this is interesting here too, because Phil will know, you can trade your whole life. Like Phil and I have been trading a long, long time, but man, you get the itch to short a move like this, and it's like this is telling you, don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Look for areas to buy. So you can step down into 5 minutes. I took one trade counter trend and I left for a couple hours because if I would have stayed there, I would have tried to get itchy fingers and you lose money. So you look for areas to buy on the dips to catch moves if you're trading futures or you're trading day-to-day options. So, pretty interesting. And the really wild thing about this, Phil, is we talk about the supremacy of the Fed liquidity, because you and I, we were actually arguing about it today. I'm doing, yeah, but the dollar, yeah, but the yield. And you're like, yeah, but Fed rules all right now. And that proved out to be absolutely true. So you have to know what is the driver of the markets, and this was absolutely one of the drivers. So pretty cool. Yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see because, these next 5 days, including today, from Friday, was they're considered the 5 most bullish days of the year. It's like an average of 1.29%. We actually blew that away just today alone.
Yeah.
Fed meeting is during the middle of the week. We may have a dip into that day or something like that, but I think the siren to the midterms are calling,
yep.
And we'll just have to wait for the liquidity to tell us to bail out, get short. The other thing too is really quick is that, Phil, you kind of point this out. These markets have been going up the month that they've been doing earnings reports. So they've been selling off into the earnings reports, and then look at June to July and look at the September to October.
Yeah,
you went to seasonal, so so it's playing out. November could be a little neutral. We'll have that out. In fact, this weekend I'll probably add that to your report, Phil, of what we can expect for November, and then December gets a little bit wonky. So it's going to be a wild ride. If you love the trade, this is going to be the environment you want to be in. So with that, let me shift gears, Phil, if you don't mind, and I'm going to pull up some charts
Yeah,
on
let's do
the
it.
energy side.
Sure.
And so let me get the daily here on this. So this is Tusk Energy. Now, these aren't buy these Monday, you're looking for a big move. These are names that you want to hold because they're starting to break out here. This is inverted head and shoulder on Tusk. Now, it blew up, right? But energy names kind of were soft on Friday. So this may pull back and may pull all the way back to the moving VWAP here. That shouldn't deter you. This is probably a stock that you're going to want to put into your portfolio going into 2023. And we talked dividend players last week. These are more just names you might want to hold, and you may hold these for 6 to 9 months. The energy secular, as I talked about it yesterday, is that we're having a rotation out of tech, and we're going to rotate out of tech, and we're going to rotate into energies and maybe even the other commodities, depending on if the dollar weakens. That parabola chart that Phil showed you, if that thing breaks down in Eiffel Towers, commodities, gold, silver, or energy are going to go through the roof. And that's still a distinct possibility after we get probably a lower high on the parabola, kind of scare the children move in the first quarter of next year. Then, we're going to see them turn on full burner on the printing presses, and we're all going to go Japanese, okay? And that should help us who own hard assets. Next thing I want to show you is, I think it's PHI Minerals, if I remember that correct. Let's see here if I can find it.
PHX Minerals, yeah.
I look too many charts every day, guys. You have to forgive me. So we have here another one, inverted head and shoulders, a little sloppy. It doesn't really mean anything. What it means here, look at this. I made a higher low, pushed through, broke through. A lot of times when these break out of these head and shoulder patterns, they'll come back and they'll test the breakout. And as long as it doesn't violate the moving VWAP on a closing basis here, that you can look for a higher move higher. And let me just show you where that is. That's the measured move on PHX. These are nice moves. This is 20% some move, 27% move, right? Tusk, I did the same thing. I think I measured it out as well. Let me look here, make sure I did. I did. So you're looking for Tusk, just a small 49% move coming, okay? So
Wow.
why do you think I like this thing so much? Look at this chart on a weekly. I know I'm going crazy about it.
That's
Look at this.
crypto-esque.
Yeah, look at this one, baby. This will drive you nuts. Look at that whoosh. Look
You
at
know what I
this
see there?
basic
Looks like an
pattern.
Adam and Eve almost on the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at the base fill.
That's what I mean.
I mean,
It's
this
good
is
bottoming
insane.
formation.
Yeah. So don't get all caught up in. We have some guys we trade with are like, oh, it went on 5%. You're playing for a 50% move. Okay. Just kind of know why you buy certain stocks. And, if you're trading it short term, then you don't want this one. If you're going to trade this thing for a potential move from 5 to 40, okay, over time, you're going to get a move, at least this measured move here coming up. And I don't know, I wouldn't sneeze at 41%, Phil. I don't know about you, but
No.
so anyway, that's that one. And then Core Labs, I think that's CLB, it's another one. Okay, these are all kind of breaking out here. The only thing that's kind of slows these down, you see these big sharp downtrends on the Lin Regs, but they're going to pull up like this. They're going to pull back to VWAP, okay, which are around 1750 area, and this one has a 26% chance of for a measured move coming out of it. And then, from there, then you look at, okay, well, can it get to 31? All these names are going to get bid, okay, and people are going to be racing out of the Amazons of the world, and they're going to be racing into the energy names of the world, and you want to be positioned when that tsunami starts to roll through. And the next one, I think, is Next Tier. Let's see if I got that thing right here. Next Tier.
Next year, Oil Field Solutions. You're right. You had it.
Did I have it in
Go
here?
back some more.
Yeah, let's see
Go
here.
there. The second one
Oh,
down.
there it is. Yeah. All right. Again, look at this basing patterns. And then if you just go out in time and you look, so here's another one that's ready to roll here for a nice move higher. This thing comes down around $9, goes up to $12. 33% move. There's so many more of these. I'll keep pointing these out to you. Energy. As Phil knows, I've been on an energy thing for now last 18 months. Everybody's long-term portfolios are down in the mid 20s to mid 30%. My portfolio has hardly even moved because I'm mostly in energy names. I'm in the dividend payers. and we have a big slug of money in ExxonMobil, and ExxonMobil blew out their earnings. So if ExxonMobil is going to blow out Oxy and Chevron, all those guys, I think Chevron already had a great report too, Phil. So I don't see any of this stuff changing. Schlumberger had already a big move. Rig already had a big move, and so I think this is just the little train that could going into 2023. So those are the kind of things I want to show you and get you positioned for. Put these on your list. What I do is just, in case people are interested, is I have filters. And so, look, I'm looking at oil and gas thing, and I'm starting with the low market cap stocks, working my way up, okay? And then I have other filters looking at other things, but this is where I start looking for my opportunities. And from there, I transfer them over from telecharts over into my watch list over in TradingView. And then you can put all kinds of alerts on TradingView. Phil was talking about on his cryptos and that really cool thing he had with the 137. Well, you can write an alert on that. Take your Bitcoin, put that 137 crossing 137, because when he was talking about, hey, maybe because we're going into recession here a little bit, this thing may chop back and forth across the 137. But one thing that crosses over, you want to be in it. So you can set alerts in TradingView and be able to, like right here, just put the alarm clock on. You can just pick it and put the alert and set, make sure you set the SMA up in your indicators, and you can alert on it and have at it. You won't miss the trade. So that's all I really have, Phil. I'm kind of really stoked, actually. Markets are fun when they go up, and I think what's happening here is we're getting a rotation. I mean, if you look through Monday through Thursday, you'd think the world was ending. Apple kind of put the kibosh on basically a collapse, but the energy names have been really holding the markets, and I think that thing's just getting started. Even if oil doesn't even go up that much, and it will for other reasons we talked about, over the past couple of weeks, is that the energy names aren't really accounting for the profitability at these levels for price. Look at ExxonMobil, okay? That they blew their earnings out by 7% revenue, 15% on profit, because their average cost that people expected them to have for oil was lower than what average oil actually was, and that's going to carry through over the next couple of quarters. So a tremendous opportunity in that space. And when that's done, then gold and silver will be following, because we know the Fed's going to have to pivot at some point.
Got it. Well, Bob, thanks for sharing the charts on Sector Saturday here. Guys, if you have any questions on what we covered, please put them below in the comments. We'll get to them. And we'll see you guys on Monday with our next podcast. We got some interesting things to cover next week, don't we, Bob?
Yeah, we do. There's some interesting things on the geopolitical front I want to talk about. There's interesting thing on the Bitcoin front that I thought I shared with Phil that I think it's really interesting for you to know about. And then maybe we're going to throw some training stuff out at you guys next week too. So, stick around, tell your friends. I don't think you get this kind of information anywhere, and I'm on social media all the time. So our whole goal here is to give you information to make you money. And if we can make you laugh along the way, make you think along the way, that's just extra for us.
Yep. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.